Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Today we're tackling astral projection.
Ooh, getting a little out there. I like it.
So that's where, your consciousness supposedly leaves your body.
Right. Like travels to other realms,
Well,
right?
that's the idea, yeah.
Okay.
To explore this, we've got a pretty wild mix of sources this time.
Uh-huh. Lay it on me.
We've got Reddit threads, tons of personal experiences there.
Always a good time. Reddit never disappoints.
Then there's this blog, The Chronicles of Jinn. They get into techniques and benefits and stuff like that.
Sounds intriguing.
And even a YouTube video recommendation, someone who claims they used astral projection to overcome some personal struggles.
Oh, wow. So we're really covering a lot of ground here, huh?
The goal is to really explore all the sides of this, from the really fascinating stuff to, well, the kind of unsettling the stuff too.
Sure.
And then, you, the listener, you get to decide what you think.
It's interesting. This topic, it kind of sits in this weird space.
Yeah.
Part spirituality, part psychology, and maybe even a little paranormal.
Yeah.
It's something people have been, fascinated by for centuries.
Oh, yeah.
And even today, it really makes you think. Some people, they believe it wholeheartedly. Others are super skeptical.
And that's totally okay. Like we always say, we're not here to say who's right or wrong.
Exactly.
We're just diving into these different perspectives, right? Personal stories, spiritual interpretations. And hey, remember you mentioned you wanted to face some of your fears.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Maybe this deep dive will give you some ideas there.
Who goes?
Speaking of fears, some of these Reddit posts, let's just say they're both fascinating and kind of creepy.
Oh, give me an example.
So one person describes this feeling of being pulled really intensely, like they're being invited to another realm. And then there's another one who talks about seeing this tribal mask during some guided meditation. It definitely makes you wonder what you might run into out there.
That's a little creepy.
Yeah. It seems like a lot of people use Reddit to, I don't know, swap stories like you would around a campfire, sharing these personal experiences.
That makes sense. It's a community, right?
And then we have this Chronicles of Jinn blog.
Right.
And they seem to take a more practical approach. Like they're actually trying to teach you how to astral project.
Oh, interesting. So like how-to guides and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They even talk about this rope technique. Imagine you're visualizing a rope above you.
Okay.
And you use it to pull your astral body out. Wild. Right.
That's pretty out there.
And they also talk about using sleep paralysis, like as a way to start astral traveling.
Whoa. Hold on. We're not like endorsing this, right?
No, definitely not. We're just, exploring what these sources are saying.
Right.
But it's important to be careful with this stuff, especially if you're new to it.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
It's kind of like exploring a new city. You wouldn't just walk into a dark alley without knowing what's there, would you?
Nope. Not a chance.
But the Chronicles of Jinn, they don't just talk about the how-to, they also get into the potential benefits.
Like what?
Well, they say it can be really powerful for self-discovery,
Okay.
stress relief, even boosting creativity and problem solving.
Interesting.
And that's where this YouTube video comes in. The creator, Jade Shaw, she says she used astral projection to, overcome her fears and gain more clarity in her life.
Huh. So it's not just about floating around in some other dimension.
Right. It's about bringing those insights back to your everyday life.
Got it.
You mentioned wanting to be more assertive at work.
Yeah.
Imagine practicing those tough conversations in the astral realm.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You could build confidence without, real-world consequences.
That's kind of a cool idea, actually.
Right. But both Jade and the Chronicles of Jinn, they really emphasize being cautious and using discernment.
That makes sense.
And that's where grounding, setting intentions, and managing fear, that all becomes super important. You mentioned you struggle with anxiety sometimes.
Yeah, I do.
Well, these sources, they suggest that fear can actually manifest in the astral plane. So having a strong sense of grounding and purpose, that's essential.
So like being prepared mentally and emotionally before you even try anything.
Exactly. It's like packing a safety kit before you go on a solo hike. Got to be ready for the unexpected.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
But you've also said you're interested in different spiritual perspectives, right?
Right. Always open to learning new things.
Well, we can't talk about astral projection without looking at it from the Islamic viewpoint.
Okay, interesting.
And that's where the Rethinking Islam blog comes in. It gives us a completely different lens to understand these experiences.
Okay, cool. What's their take?
Well, it's fascinating. They connect astral projection to how Islam understands dreams.
Huh.
Interesting. How so?
They say the soul can actually detach from the body during sleep,
Okay.
and that can lead to experiences like astral projection.
I see.
They even categorize dreams into 3 types:
Oh, wow. What are they?
true dreams from God, ordinary dreams from the mind, and even satanic dreams that try to mislead you.
Wow. That's pretty intense.
It is. And it adds, well, another layer to this whole discussion.
Definitely does. So not all astral experiences are like good or enlightening then.
Right. It's like navigating a forest. You might
Mm.
find beautiful flowers and meadows, but you got to watch out for danger too.
Yeah.
And the author of the Rethinking Islam blog, they actually share a personal story. They encountered a female entity in a dream and had to recite Quranic verses for protection.
Whoa. Okay, that's powerful.
It really shows how connected astral projection is to different belief systems and spiritual practices.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned you're interested in Sufism, and they focus a lot on dream interpretation, right?
Right. Do you see any connection between this Islamic perspective and, well, your own understanding of dreams and the soul?
That's a really great question, and one we'll have to explore more, I think.
Definitely.
But even now, it's clear this deep dive is already showing us so much about the beliefs and experiences around astral projection.
And we're just getting started.
There's so much more to uncover. Like, what about encountering other beings in the astral realm?
Right.
Or the possibility of exploring different times and places?
Now we're talking.
We'll dive into all that and more.
Just can't wait.
So stay tuned.
As we go through all this stuff about astral projection, it just seems like, I don't know, maybe it's not the same for everyone.
Oh, what do you mean? Like different types of astral projection?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Think about those Reddit posts. Some people had these really vivid experiences,
Mhm.
like super real.
Yeah.
And others just felt, I don't know, hazy or even stuck.
Like that one, right? The one who felt like they kept hitting a wall and couldn't leave their room?
Right, right. It's almost like some people are playing a video game on easy mode,
Uh-huh.
and others are stuck on, like, the hardest difficulty.
Interesting.
And if we think about that Islamic perspective on dreams, with the different types,
Yeah.
and the soul traveling,
Yeah.
it makes you wonder if maybe those different experiences, maybe they're happening on different levels.
Like different astral layers or planes?
Exactly. Some people are exploring a city, others are,
Mhm.
in a quiet field.
Okay, so maybe it's not just one big astral plane,
Right.
but multiple levels or dimensions. I don't know, do you think it matters what your intentions are?
Hmm.
Or your, like, spiritual background?
That's a good question. We can only really guess.
Yeah.
But if we think about it like that, multiple layers,
Uh-huh.
maybe that explains why some people feel so peaceful during astral projection,
Right.
while others feel fear or encounter those creepy entities.
Yeah.
Remember that.
Oh, yeah. Makes all that stuff about grounding and intentions seem even more important.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's like having a map and compass before you go exploring. Right?
Yeah, exactly. You need to know where you're going and how to get there.
Right.
You wanted to use astral projection for inspiration.
Right.
Right.
I was thinking about it, yeah.
Maybe focusing on that, on your goal, could actually change the experience you have.
Huh. Interesting. So like setting an intention before you even start.
Yeah, like choosing a destination for your trip.
Okay.
But what about the people who just like spontaneously have an astral experience?
Oh, right.
They're not really trying to leave their body.
Right.
It just happens.
So do those experiences fit into this like multi-layered thing too?
I don't know. It's like randomly falling through a portal in a video game, right?
Yeah.
You don't know where you're going to end up.
Exactly.
Well,
Maybe it's awesome, maybe it's terrifying.
right. So it seems like being prepared is always a good idea.
Yeah, for sure. Even if you aren't, actively trying to astral project.
But let's switch gears a bit.
Mm-hmm.
We've been talking about the experience a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but what about the people who think it's all just in your head?
Right. The skeptics.
Yeah. What would you say to them? Well, I think being skeptical is a good thing, especially when we're talking about stuff that, well, it doesn't really fit with how we see the world.
I agree. It's healthy to question things.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know, watching a magic trick.
Oh, yeah.
You can enjoy the illusion,
Right.
but you also know there's a trick behind it.
Exactly. Doesn't mean it's not entertaining.
And people's experiences, those are personal.
Yeah.
They can be shaped by what they believe or expect, even their culture. Someone who grew up where everyone believes in astral projection, well, they might be more likely to have those experiences,
Right.
even if it's, all in their mind.
Like almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy or something.
Right. So we can't really prove for sure that astral travel is real,
Yeah.
but we also can't just ignore how it affects people.
Exactly. It's real to them.
It's like the placebo effect.
Oh, good point.
Even if it's all in your head, it can still make you feel better.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that brings us back to what we're really talking about here, right?
What's that?
Consciousness.
Oh, yeah.
And what it can do. Can our minds actually go beyond our bodies?
Right.
And experience other realms?
Or are we just, I don't know, exploring parts of ourselves we didn't know were there?
Exactly.
It's a big question.
It is.
And our sources, they give us some interesting ways to think about it.
Right.
Like that Islamic view.
Uh-huh.
They say the soul is separate from the body.
Right.
And it can travel to other realms.
Even during sleep.
Yeah. And the Chronicles of Jinn,
Uh-huh.
they kind of hint at the same thing, that the astral body and the physical body are different.
So even though they're coming from different places,
Yeah.
they both seem to be saying that maybe our consciousness isn't just limited to this physical world.
That's pretty wild to think about.
It is.
But if it's true,
Yeah.
then what are those other realms like? What would we see there?
Right. And what does it all mean for how we understand reality?
Whoa. Now you're really making my head spin.
I know, right?
But that's what makes these deep dives so cool.
Exactly.
We get to explore all this stuff, the edge of what we know.
Where the known meets the unknown.
Exactly. Speaking of the unknown, one of the most interesting things about astral projection,
What's that?
the possibility of meeting other beings,
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
from like helpful guides to scary entities.
Right, right.
It's both exciting and, well, kind of frightening.
Remember that Redditor? The one who saw the tribal mask?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Makes you wonder if some of these beings are dangerous.
Definitely. It's a varied concern.
Especially for someone like you who's a little anxious about trying astral projection.
Yeah, that's fair.
But remember, not every encounter is bad.
Right.
Lots of people say they meet helpful guides,
Yeah.
or even loved ones who've passed away. And the Chronicles of Jinn, they say what you focus on matters. Like your intentions and your emotions.
Okay.
They actually say fear can create those negative experiences. So going into it with a good mindset and a purpose, that's really important.
Okay. Yeah, I see that.
It's like going to a party, right?
Oh, yeah.
If you're confident and open, you'll probably attract good people.
Right.
But if you're anxious and scared,
Yeah.
well, maybe you won't meet the nicest folks.
Right. I get it. So being mindful of your energy.
Exactly. And you said you wanted to connect with your grandfather.
Yeah.
Well, some people say that's possible with astral projection. You can talk to loved ones who've passed.
That would be amazing.
It would.
But even if we're careful and open-minded,
Yeah.
there's still that question. Right.
What's that?
What does it all mean? What does it mean to meet other beings in the astral realm?
Right. Good or bad.
Yeah. It's something people have been wondering about for ages.
Right.
I mean, if it's real,
Mhm.
it changes how we think about everything. Reality, ourselves, our place in the universe.
Whoa.
It's like imagine finding a secret room in your house
Okay.
and it leads to a whole other world.
That would be wild.
Suddenly, everything you thought you knew
Yeah.
about your house, about yourself, it's different.
Right. Right.
And through that secret door, we're seeing glimpses of other beings,
Uh-huh.
other realms, maybe even other parts of ourselves.
Wow.
It's a journey into the unknown, into the mysteries of consciousness.
It's amazing, right? How different all these astral projection experiences are.
It really is. It's like looking through one of those kaleidoscopes.
Yeah.
Every time you turn it, a new pattern, different shapes and colors.
And with astral projection, it's like every experience is unique. Some are blissful, some are scary, some are confusing.
Right. Makes you wonder what makes them so different.
Is it like the person,
Maybe.
their personality, beliefs, spiritual background?
Could be. Or even just their mood that day.
Yeah, who knows?
It's hard to predict. Like trying to figure out the weather.
Right. You can look at all the data, but you never know for sure.
And with astral projection, our sources give us some ideas. But ultimately, yeah, it seems like everyone's journey is their own.
Like everyone's exploring their own personal little universe.
That's a cool way to think about it.
It is, right? But it makes me think about something we haven't really talked about yet.
What's that?
The ethics of it all.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, if we can really project our consciousness to other places,
Uh-huh.
how do we act?
It's a big question. Responsibility. Potential for harm.
Yeah. I mean, if you're meeting other beings in the astral realm,
Yeah,
do the same rules apply?
right. Can you just, I don't know, barge into someone's astral home?
Exactly. And the Chronicles of Jinn, they touch on that a bit. They say don't manipulate or harm others while you're astral projecting.
Makes sense. As like, if you
Sure.
travel to another country,
Yeah.
you got to respect their customs.
Right. You don't want to do anything that could hurt someone.
Exactly. And that Islamic perspective,
Uh-huh.
seeking guidance, protection,
Yeah.
it reminds us that even in the astral realm, actions have consequences.
So we need to be ethical even when we're exploring these like out there experiences.
It's almost like, remember the early days of the internet?
Yeah, yeah.
We were all figuring out the rules,
Yeah.
how to behave online.
Right, right. So as we wrap up this deep dive into astral projection,
Uh-huh.
what are the big things people should keep in mind as they explore this more on their own?
Well, first, be curious,
Mm-hmm.
but also be careful.
Yeah, don't just believe everything you hear.
There's a lot of information out there, but not all of it is good.
So be smart about your sources.
And remember, this is personal. It's subjective.
Right,
What works for someone else might not work for you.
and vice versa. So be patient.
Try different things.
Yeah, yeah. And most importantly, trust your gut.
Oh, that's a good one. Intuition is key.
And before you even try astral projection,
Yeah.
set an intention. Like, what do you want to get out of it?
Right, it's like planning a trip. Do you want to relax,
Mhm.
explore, be challenged?
Exactly. And don't forget about grounding, especially if you struggle with anxiety, like you said.
Yeah, grounding is important.
Make sure you have ways to stay connected to your body.
Right. It's like that safety line when you're rock climbing.
Exactly. Keeps you safe while you explore.
So I guess that's our advice.
Yeah, I think so. Explore carefully. Be mindful.
Be open to the possibilities.
But also be grounded.
Right, right.
So to close out this deep dive,
Yeah.
I want to leave everyone with one last question to think about.
Okay, hit me with it.
If astral projection is real, what does it tell us about consciousness? About reality?
Yeah.
About how everything is connected?
Wow, that's a big one.
It is. But those are the questions we should be asking.
We might never have all the answers.
But asking the questions,
Yeah.
that opens our minds to all sorts of possibilities.
Yeah.
To a universe that's way bigger and more mysterious than we can imagine.
I like that. Keep exploring. Keep questioning. Keep seeking those extraordinary moments.
Both inside ourselves.
And in the world around us.
Exactly. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone.
Until next time.